transition. This what y'all been missing. Sit down, pay attention, and listen. Mark and T, speaking for the culture. Welcome to the Adverb Show. Adverb Show. Welcome to the Adverb Show. Welcome to the Adverb Show. Welcome to the Adverb Show.
What's going on, y'all? This is Mark with Adverb.
It's your boy Ito.
And we are back with another episode. We're going to recap what's been kind of happening.
Hold on, Mark. Hold on. You're jumping right into it.
That's what we do.
Don't you guys see the new studio?
Oh, yeah. You want
Come
to get
on
the
now.
ambiance. The
Y'all like the
ambiance?
ambiance? We try to switch it up for you a little bit. I hope you appreciate it. Go ahead.
This ain't
Continue.
pyramids, but it's a bump up.
It is a bump up, right?
So, yeah, we got the new place, new vibrations. What's been going on since last time, brother?
A lot. What about you?
What's
been going on with you?
A lot. Turned 40.
Okay.
New goals, new attitude. That's really it. You know what I'm saying? Try to get more into my routine, working out, sacrificing, just, stepping it up.
I heard
one
that.
day at a time.
I heard that.
I know you said you a lot, but I know with what I see online, you've been out of town and taking trips to the games.
Are you spying on me?
You showing it. You broadcasting it.
Yeah, but I have been doing a lot since we had our last episode. I was so hyped about Luka that I went to the Lakers game and had to get the floor seats, of course, because I wanted to get close to the action, really see what's going on.
Floor seats, like ASAP Ferg.
LeBron wasn't playing. This was a couple months ago. This was right after that episode. LeBron wasn't playing.
Was he
Luka,
hurt?
He was hurt. Yeah, he had like
groin?
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly. They were playing against the Suns. I took my son for his birthday, and when I got to my seat, I whispered to the lady who was sitting there, and I'll show you a picture of her. She was basically a person that keeps everybody where they're supposed to be. Don't let anybody get past her.
Glorified security.
She's a real deal. And I told her it's my son's birthday. She gave us a gift basket, a Laker basket with all like Laker stuff in it. She let my son stand on the side where the players go to their locker rooms to give them the high fives. And I was like, son, were you able to high five LeBron? And he was like, no, Dad, he didn't high five nobody. I was like,
I've been hot too.
Yeah. I was like, man, that's all right, maybe next time. But he said, that's okay. When after LeBron walked by, Bronny said, I got you, little man, and gave me a dap. So that shows that's kind of it's kind of the future, acknowledging.
Bron probably told him,
I'm gonna pick up where Bron left off.
He probably told us something you get drafted, you dapping up all the fans, but I'm not feeling like it. That was a prerequisite.
It definitely was. So it worked out. My son was able to dap up Luka. What I have to say about that game and why I brought it up from the time that we had the last episode and how I was just admonishing him. Yeah, I was everything with Luka. I noticed something, and I noticed it in the playoffs against the Timberwolves. They trap him, and I'm not going to go too deep into it, but
we'll talk about it.
He needs to get into shape because he doesn't seem like he's able to really play defense at the highest level. And I'm kind of seeing what Nico saw, and we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I was also invited to a ceremony that was hosted by the Senate building. Republicans and Democrats attended. Rob Snyder was there. One of my friends, he's the chief of staff for the Senate building. Rob Snyder was there. RFK was there, our HHS secretary, and the initiative that
using all them big words and them jargon.
You got to when you're around those crowds.
Right now.
But the initiative was to eliminate processed food from school lunches, and it was something that Republicans and Democrats, came together for, and I thought that was a cool situation. So I thought I'd show support for that initiative.
Eliminating what?
Processed foods.
So they're gonna put better food in.
So our governor is Katie Hobbs, right? And they tried to do eliminating processed foods. The writer of that piece of legislation also tried to do like sodas and stuff, but that was vetoed. But she did pass eliminating processed foods. It was on the news, a pretty big deal. So
it's funny how
that's how I was supporting my community.
They're putting bills in to like get rid of stuff, and like they're recognizing like what's what's not healthy for kids and stuff, but I remember when we were on campus, a whole team of soda guys came and just dropped off sodas.
You're right, and
Surge.
you could just taste what.
And it ain't even in existence. You could Google Surge, and it's not even a company. You know what it is. It's like green slime, and it was giving out cans like pennies. Everybody was going home like eight and nine cans of Surge. I'm like, now I think about that when you say things like this. I'm like, they was killing us with this soda, low-key problem.
And you know, the initiative was MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. You know, I have reservations with the whole slogan thing, but if it has to do with the kids and making them healthier.
I don't care what it is, as long as the food's better.
and less toxic for them. Yeah. So that's what I was doing on the break. If I can just sum that up into a small little, you know.
That was big, but yeah, you summed it up.
It was pretty big, right? Yeah. I was out here doing my thing.
Well, outside of that, I turned 40. You've been part of the game, legislation. How do you think Carter reacts to those two things happening? What did he enjoy most, being out there in front of all these people on a professional level, or actually going to the game? Because he's the only one that went to both.
I think.
Right? He's the only one that went to both.
Yeah, he went to both of them. I think he loved it. He didn't know who Rich Paul was, or I think that would have kind of took it over because Rich Paul came up to him, I got the video, and pretty much got a selfie with him and just said happy birthday to him. And he didn't have to do that.
Did you hear, let me segue on the Rich Paul. You brought Rich Paul up. Did you hear about
what, Mark?
David Falk. Okay, man, let me get my head out. Let me thought out. David Falk. You know who David Falk is?
No.
That's Jordan's agent.
Okay.
Said that if I switch teams, if I hopped around teams or something like that, I'd be pretty great too. Or something. He basically was knocking LeBron for jumping teams or getting to the finals so much with so many squads because Jordan stuck around for them and was low-key throwing shade at it. And then people were saying that he wasn't doing that because of Bron. They were saying they don't like that Rich Paul can get these things done for him, and he's just some guy Bron pulled off the block. He's just somebody that they believe got your position based on the fact that you know him, and now you got all these athletes like Anthony Davis and all these new cats getting these deals and doing these things and deciding and giving them options and all these things that other agents don't really like or the test or whatever because it's like it takes away their control and their power. And now he done flipped it like I'm the players guy. Everybody likes he's the homie. And now it's like the homie came in and hooked everybody up with what they want, and they look at themselves kind of like you're changing our structure and you're making us look bad. You know what I'm saying? Like in that regard.
I see him. I see Rich Paul as a person who has a resume. With LeBron James, that's very successful. So your resume.
And he knows the stuff. People talk about him actually knowing what he's doing and how he engages and puts a lot of work in with these players and builds their relationships and stuff too. Because people take that for granted. Yeah. Their relationship. But you said Rich Paul, and that was on SportsCenter yesterday. I was thinking about that. On the basketball tip.
Also, we had Richard Jefferson. He just came through, gave us some love. So to go back to the question you asked. Amongst those two events, Rob Snyder was there, RFK Jr. versus LeBron, Rich Paul, Richard Jefferson, Luka. I think my son's probably going to go with that Lakers game. Yeah, but in the long term, for what that piece of legislation does, he'll remember that event longer than that.
He might be in school one day in the cafeteria, might have something dope, and be like, man, I was part of the thing that happened.
Yeah. So,
that's cool.
You know, that was my community event that I was a part of. Speaking of the community, we have our kids graduating from high school and college. It's May. Kids are graduating. My daughter graduated from preschool. And I don't know if that's even a graduation, but I couldn't stop crying, bro.
Oh, crazy.
I couldn't stop crying. It's like my last child, and she's no longer a baby. And this is it. I won't never have a child. You know, they snipped me. You got snipped too, I heard.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
That's another story for another time. But anyway.
So I know I'm not going to have any more kids. So it was like a chapter closing. I'll never have a kid in preschool anymore. You know, so I was just kind of
missing that little time, that little kid
I know
time
it's
frame.
over.
Everybody's big now.
Yeah, it's
I like
over.
It.
It's over.
I miss it a little bit sometimes, but sometimes I see, like I got a homegirl who's got a kid who's a little younger. Yeah. And I'm watching how she gets down with it, and she's 4, and I'm like, man, like, I forget what it's like to have a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I got
okay, I gotta ask you this real quick. Did you think I'm missing out, and not how she acted, just in general, like, man, I miss having a 4-year-old, or man, I really don't miss having a 4-year-old?
It was both for me.
Okay, it usually is.
I don't miss a lot, but I looked at some of it and was like, yeah, I miss the ability to make it easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to have fun with a preschool.
Yeah, yeah.
Little kids, my daughter's 8 going on 30, and it feels like
Yeah.
it feels like she's just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
debate's like, man, like you got 5 minutes to decide what kind of fun we having. But I'm sitting right back on this couch.
You do
So
a
it's-
lot of fun things with your kids.
But I gotta force them
Can-
now.
yeah,
I
you
feel
do.
like I gotta,
But can you tell the audience how great of a dad you are, though? You know.
Well, yeah, man, I tell them to go outside with some sticks and they play in some mud and come back and they built something for me. So I figured like I promote their creative juices.
Yeah.
But overall, no, I do. We paint, draw, go out to the pool and stuff like that, and try not to sweat too much.
Fishing, you fish. Not a lot of
Yeah,
people
we ain't
just
caught
go.
nothing in a while, but
Okay.
we out there trying.
Okay. All right.
Catch and release, so
That's
I'm not
pretty
bringing
cool.
home any catfish or anything
What
like that.
and I know you could ask me this too, but what knowledge or information do you have to the graduates? 2025. They're still alive.
Like we were talking about, the only thing I would say to people that are graduating is it's very easy to decide and base your goals and structures around what everybody expects of you, and to never be upset with not knowing necessarily what you want to do, but just understand you don't have to force yourself into this idea of, like we say, I got to go to college because I got to go to college,
Yeah.
or there's all kind of options. It's just a matter of like figuring out where you want to be, what you want to do, and letting the fruits of everything kind of fall into place.
Yeah.
But not thinking so monetarily,
Yeah.
even though it's hard because it's really tough out here when it comes
I
to
have to. I disagree
tough.
with that.
Well, it is. I'm saying
The monetary
not
part.
so, not just, not
Okay,
strictly. Like you have
okay.
to be happy at what you do. You don't want to
Yeah.
be looking up 10 years later like the guy in Minecraft, and he's like, why am I behind a desk? Like
Yeah,
you'll be sitting
yeah.
there feeling like,
That's
I
true.
should be pushing something else instead of this,
Yeah.
papers or whatever. And at the end of the day, and you'll find something you're unhappy with to figure out
Yeah.
what you're happy with, but just remember that, because you don't want to be, a lot of people get to their age, my age, and are not happy. And that's why I promote. Graduate, but strive to find happiness as well.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's
I
a big,
come
broad
at it-
word, but I'm saying, yeah,
I
it's
feel
all
like
that.
because my dad's Nigerian and he pushed.
He whipped that money in you.
he whipped us like, you have to go to a nursing school.
Yeah, I knew the accent.
Right away.
I knew the accent.
And I was like, oh man. So I knew that that's what I was going to do right away. And from that experience and the success I was able to have, I recommend for this class of 2025 to figure out whether college is even for you. Figure out if a trade is for you. And really, you should be figuring that out, honestly. And I hate to say it because they're already graduated, but you should be figuring that out when you're getting into high school. Like for my kids, I'm going to start asking them, I kind of already am, what do you like to do? School is a place where you go to figure out what you like, what you're good at, what you don't like, and what you're not good at. So you should kind of know what you like to do, what can make you a decent amount of money, but also give you a little bit of
But they
happiness.
need that happening. Most high schoolers aren't going to do that on their own. Too
You
much
know the
influence.
problem?
Too much influence.
I blame these damn boomers. They used to tell us, and this is probably them trying to give the knowledge of the past that they've experienced, but they should have been looking at the future, I think personally, and how the world will change. They didn't have that foresight.
But the parents now, what you're saying is like going into high school knowing I'm gonna be prepping my kids to be able to say what they want to do going. That's what you're going to do. If you don't do that, 9 times out of 10, social media and whatever they're watching is going to kind of raise them until they decide on their own. You're active in the point where you're saying, hey, this is the thought in my mind. I'm implementing that to you.
Yeah.
A lot of parents right now just go to work and go through the motions. A lot of these kids,
Yeah.
they're not getting any kind of reinforcement. And unfortunately, because everything being so spinny, like, oh, I got to have this now. Attention spans being so short, you got to kind of force, you got to kind of throw that in there.
Algorithm.
It is.
Yeah.
And if you don't throw those ideas in it, their algorithm is just what they watch on social
But
media.
that's why you throw us in the algorithm to get that, disinformation smashed. You hear me?
Disinformation or
Disinformation.
Yeah.
If they're telling you that you need to be, a rapper, or you need to be really a social media influencer, that's not what you should do starting out, because the chances of that happening are very low. You can do it, but what are you going to do if that doesn't happen? You know what I mean? So I really just suggest, even if you don't have somebody to tell you, you should be looking into things that you're good at first. How can I make money off of this? You know, even if you decide to go to college, cool. You could have a side hustle and still, you know, study and do what you got to do. I'm just saying that because I feel like a lot of counselors, again, boomers, I got beef with you boomers. They told our generation, the millennials, you have to go to college or bust, or you're going to be poor. So go to college, get in a whole bunch of debt, and, you know, as long as you do that, you'll be fine. That's not what happened. All of us are struggling. I mean, the ones that didn't prioritize money and, you know, a job as well, because you have to make money starting out. You want to build your resume, and if you're starting out with big loads of debt, you got to really think, is this career going to get me that money back as well as give me a substantial amount of, you know, happiness and stability and a foundation for my family to live on long term?
I think part of it too is understanding that if you don't do that, you are in a system designed to have you pretty much
fail.
Yeah, like, or get in debt, or learn after you've already got something on your shoulders, and that's something. At least if you know that, there is a moment, there's a space where you can be in where, as I figure it out, I won't accumulate or do this. Like you can play it like chess, but it's like sometimes they don't know all the pieces on the board. Like
One more thing about y'all boomers. If you're not picking up your grandkid at least once a month and just taking them somewhere and teaching them something, I'm talking to you. What else?
That's a whole
What
separate
else?
thing.
What else do you think they need to do?
You know the boomers.
I'm just hot right now. I feel like the boomers kind of failed us a little bit, bro.
The kids in the 70s too, our parents are
and we had to get rid of all these generational curses.
But not all.
You know what I mean? I'm just hot with the boomers right now.
Parents are boomers, is what I'm saying. Some of them are different generations. Some of them are X. So like you got, if your parents are boomers, if you think boomers just said that, that's fine. But I think boomers and anybody before basically the social media and technological boom was saying what they just saw, and there was not a lot of influence outside of just what was visible to you, what was spoken on, what was the word around town. Like everything now is like, I'm gonna Google that. I'm gonna search that up. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. All these other entities. But
that's true.
Both of those generations were doing that because technically, even though me and you had parents who had kids at decent ages, half the kids in the 80s, their parents were 70s, you know, 60s babies and stuff like that.
If you're still beating on your kids, I'm talking to you. Just those generational curses. I'm talking.
You live at home with your mama.
That's all I'm saying.
You have a shorty, you don't show love.
So, you know, I wanted to get to that meeting, that infamous meeting that just took place with a specific South African president.
That was funny, bro.
It was very funny.
Because it was funny because the whole time I didn't realize they weren't even talking about anything. He just mentioned a reporter being an idiot, NBC News being fake, and death, horrible death.
You know what?
Thousands of crosses of white farmers. Thousands. I've never seen anything like this.
And you know, it's only funny because we know that there's no farmers that are Caucasian dying. So we can laugh.
Do we know that though?
No, I'm pretty sure that I think I read a statistic that there was like one farmer, I think. Look it up, y'all. Check it out. Write it in the comments. Give us some info. I do know that that the president of South Africa handled himself very, very poised and what's the word I'm looking for? Come on, give it to me, Mark.
Oh no, he was controlled. He didn't allow the attitude.
Elegant. He was very elegant and composed.
Composed and poised.
For being blindsided. I thought that was just. I
thought
that
was
was
really
very
blindsided
funny.
because he knew coming into it. He's already met with him before.
Yeah.
And he already spoke to him before, and he came in actually giving him mad props first.
Yeah.
So you really kind of diffuse any kind of like
right,
vibration.
you're right.
He started, and you could tell Trump was kind of like, I like this, but I don't like all this gas you're giving me.
What?
He was like, thank you for this, thank you for that. You came through with the defibrillator. What he said, the defibrillator, the oxygen tanks. You came through with. He was like, yeah. Anyways, he's like trying to like.
What was funny to me were two things. One was when the reporter asked about that plane. He got.
He dug in on that report.
Trump got so mad, and it's like watching your uncle. You know that
he kept jumping back on
it. Who your uncle. You know how your uncle gets when certain people talk to him a certain way, and you're like, oh shoot, y'all done poked the bear. It was just comedy.
Like he had a drink, and then he couldn't let it just get away. He kept coming back to it.
I think this administration is the new reality TV. If it wasn't
TV.
so serious, it would be funnier. My hopes from this term is to stop all the wars. If that could be accomplished, that's a great deal. My other hope is to try to find a way to heal the planet. Let's get these carbon emissions reversed. Let's find the technology that's going to stop the global warming. So if those could be accomplished, I think that's a big deal. Also, Mars. My grandfather was a NASA engineer. They called him Black Magic, and so he used to always watch Star Trek. So I've always been interested in the stars and Mars and all that. So hopefully we can get to Mars. I don't know why we need to go there, but I just want to have other planets to be able to be at.
It sounds
yeah,
fun.
like let's go to Mars next week. Doesn't that sound cool?
That sounds rich.
Yeah, it
yes.
sounds pretty cool.
But no, I think that whole meeting though, the idea was for him to kind of like be off topic initially. Like he didn't stay on topic when it came to what he wanted to talk to the president. What was it, Rama?
I forgot his name. We'll throw it up.
Yeah. He didn't want to stay on topic because I felt like, I kind of stopped it right in the end, like 10 minutes left. But there was they never answered any questions. No. Everything was just jumping back to fake news and
comedy.
That's why it's hard to really get into and watch any of that stuff. Because it's like, as much as this sounds all professional and deep, it's like no one's saying nothing really. So it's all funny.
Memorial Day, that's going to be coming up tomorrow. Are we dating ourselves? Should we be dating ourselves today? Today's Sunday. Memorial Day is tomorrow. Let's talk a little bit about Memorial Day and how that started. Do you know how Memorial Day started?
I got that video you sent me with the whole Black History Memorial. Now, she mentioned a lot of stuff, but she didn't really push any kind of like resource, which was kind of frustrating. It's like I get speaking on that topic.
You have to
but when you Google what she's talking about, it says it in a way in which it's a little more Google formatted, where hey, they honored the deaths of these soldiers, slaves, and contributors to the war. They moved them for the sake of memorializing their bodies in a way in which they didn't want them to be. I forgot why or where they were.
So I'll stop you there.
Yeah.
Memorial Day was originated in the actual but the actual year that this ceremony took place, and the ceremony was the freed slaves that became soldiers and fought in the Civil War were dumped in one mass grave, and it was behind a horse track. And so the Memorial Day that was made in 1865 was basically Black people putting the freed slaves that were fought in the Civil War, the soldiers, into their own grave sites to commemorate them, give them respect. So they just literally took the bodies and put them in a different place and fenced off the cemetery and just gave them their own dignity and respect that they really deserved for fighting in the Civil War. After that, Memorial Day was made, and it started by really a celebration around a racetrack where they just marched and commemorated the Civil War veterans that were enslaved.
That's what you should put on the comments or post, that link where you found that information specifically. Because that's not where she breaks it down. She doesn't break that down on that video.
I got OGs that I heard the real story
Really,
from.
they need links because I want to see that. I want OGs to get a little more factual.
Yeah, so
all this
that
stuff.
if you want a little bit more about Memorial Day, go ahead and do your own research. But that's the special thing about Memorial Day. I have a lot of family that served in the military. A classmate of mine, and for me, I'm so proud that he was a classmate of mine. We graduated together in 2004. He was in Afghanistan and he got his leg blown off. So it was just like, man, I was in class with such a hero, somebody who was so strong and so resilient. Just a
Does
cool
he have
guy.
a prosthetic leg?
Yeah, they gave him a prosthetic leg, and I just admire him. And whenever I think of Memorial Day or Veterans Day, I think of him like, man, that was my classmate. How brave of him to go into a war and
Risk your body, because I'm not doing
your life for this country. And there's countless of other people who have done that. So we salute y'all and thank you for your service. Give them a round of applause. Let's do that.
So
what's up?
Eastern Western Conference. I'm ready to talk about the games.
You ready to talk about the games?
Yeah, the one
Are
we're
you
missing
sure?
right now. And
So my pick was the Lakers. Who did I pick for
Celtics.
the East? I did pick the Celtics.
Yeah, those bums.
Damn.
I picked the Cavs.
You did pick the Cavs, but you
swept.
did pick the Thunder, and I thought that was a very wise pick. What do you think about what's going on now? We got the Timberwolves against the Thunder.
What's crazy is how they gonna get blown out yesterday. That trips me out.
So let's talk about it. Then we'll go out.
I want the Timberwolves to win. I just think the Thunder is going to go. They just have such a weird
So can I be honest with you?
Their experience is weird.
Can I be honest with you about the Thunder and the Timberwolves? Can I be honest?
Depends. No, I'm playing. Go ahead.
They're fouling the hell out of the Timberwolves. But whenever you touch the Thunder, and you know who I'm talking about.
Shea. Yeah.
He's
Because he
big flops. I'm talking about
because
big flops.
him and Brunson create those. If you get anywhere near him, he gets into you, and
So
that's how
is that the new NBA though?
kind of. They're playing that's their strategy.
I feel like they
Man,
don't give
if
those
Brunson-
calls to
I heard-
Anthony
look,
Edwards
I heard
though.
if Brunson feels you on his hair when he's moving, and he feels you on his hair, he'll back into you and get that foul before he shoots.
I'm talking about the Thunder because I think that's the
But I'm saying
advantage.
him and them. So Brunson and Shea are the only two that really do that. And when
Yeah.
you're on a team with somebody who does that so much,
Yeah.
and especially because of Shea being somebody you have to trap or double
Yeah,
team,
yeah.
you're going to foul him a lot
Yeah,
because
I
he's
agree.
either gonna rush down low or
Yeah.
he don't take threes like talking about. He's a
Yeah.
mid-range.
Let's stick with the Thunder right
He is
now.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay. I just
Shay's
wanna
a
make sure.
mid-range
So
passing kind of guy.
what I'm looking for in the next game that they play, because that was a blowout. They beat them by like 40. The
That was
Timberwolves.
horrible, yeah,
I
42.
think the reason that they beat them was because people were complaining and memeing the fact that Shea they had him in like a bubble wrap. That was every foul he gets. Every time he goes in, he's getting fouled. But I don't feel like that same sentiment is given to the T-Wolves. So that game was just the refs adjusting.
Also, T-Wolves got to get Gobert going. That bum. He's over here doing the least.
This podcast isn't a place where we're gonna dog players out.
I'm
though,
sorry.
okay?
I'm saying he's playing in
But
the-
he could produce
he
a
can
little
produce
more.
a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. So who's your picks coming out of that? Obviously, you've been picking the Thunder. Who you think's coming out the West now that we're closer
I
to
think
the
the Thunder right now is still coming out, and I'm still
Okay.
going to leave with them. I hope that the Timberwolves go out.
I hope the Timberwolves
But
win. You know
unfortunately-
why? Because I feel like I don't want the NBA to evolve to ticky-tack fouls. I really
No,
don't.
the truth is.
So if
no.
they don't give Shea all those fouls, do the Timberwolves win or do the Thunder win? Like not all. but-
I don't know because the Timberwolves turn the ball over. They can't
Yeah,
keep the
yeah.
ball in there, and that's like some
yeah.
frustrating stuff.
Yeah.
I think people just want to see Anthony Edwards go to the finals.
I
The
agree.
NBA knows that it's money
agree.
if
I agree.
Anthony Edwards goes
That's
to the
true.
finals
That's
because
true.
he's just coming off the Olympics and
Yeah.
he's been on that movie Hustle. He's got a
Yeah.
new series on Netflix.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
star right now.
yeah.
So that'd
They're
be
pushing
big.
him for sure.
Shea and them
pushing
going,
him.
whatever, they let it happen. But
Yeah.
I think they really don't want Indiana to go. You do not want
So
Indiana
let's go
to
there.
go to
So
the
your
finals.
pick is the Thunder. My pick is the Timberwolves. My basketball sense is telling me that the Thunder are more fundamentally sound.
Yep.
And they have
Fresher, younger
they have
legs.
a deeper bench too.
Hell yeah, definitely.
So let's go east. We got
And
a
the
game
Pacers
on.
are taking them dudes.
Pacers are taking
might
them, right?
sweep them,
You think
unfortunately.
the Pacers are going to sweep them?
They may. He's trying to shoot threes. I don't know where he don't go down low. He's soft, man. He's been the softest big dude. I swear, like he is. He be flexing on.
He's
on
a
stuff.
shapeshifter.
He is.
He's a
He's so
shapeshifter
big
for
and
sure.
goofy sometimes. It's
So I want to give shout out to somebody that I think always goes below the radar, and that's Pascal Siakam. I think
why is he below the radar? I think it's because of the squads he's played on.
that's the reason I think that
Did he
they're
play for the
doing so
Thunder?
well. Draymond Green just said he was a hard guard. He was very difficult, and I think it's because he's unorthodox in the way he plays. So big shout out to him. If they can do anything against the Thunder, they're going to need him to come up big.
You know-
They're going to need Miles Turner to be big.
No, their X factor is T.J. McConnell. That kid has speed.
Oh yeah,
motors
yeah.
on his feet. He
yeah,
gets
McConnell
in
is-
the
yes,
lane
yeah.
anytime
Does he remind you of
wants.
Caruso a little bit?
He's like John Stockton and Steve Nash, bro.
put together.
He don't pass like Stockton, but he's like Steve
I was
Nash.
gonna say, that's a big-
he's like
that's
he's
a big,
he's like that when it comes to like threading and getting in. Now, is he a good point guard like that? No, probably not. But if he gets, man,
Yeah.
McConnell's so fast.
Yeah. Do we want to wait till the finals to talk about who we think's going to take it all? Do we want to say it now? We'll wait. We'll give you guys something to look forward to.
I'm gonna say it now.
We'll wait till the
Look,
Don't
I'll-
say it. Don't say it, bro. Don't say it.
Let me write it down.
Yeah. Stay tuned. We'll give you guys
I
our.
wish we had something for real. We should do predictions on paper and leave them in here and then like pull them up because I swear.
We
I don't
know
have to
we
say
can look at
nothing.
the last.
Yeah, but I can
oh,
tell you who's
okay,
gonna win
okay.
now. I just don't want to say it because you don't want to speak
I know.
on it.
Don't say that because I have a feeling I know who you're going to talk about. But so for me, coming out of the East, we're going to go with New York if they can get this game. If they go down 0-3, of course, it's over. Who are you going for in the East? I'm assuming.
I want New York to win, but I'm gonna go for the Pacers. I'm gonna say the Pacers will do that. That's what
Yeah.
they're showing me.
I
The Thunder
see,
will do that. That's what they're showing me.
Yeah.
I give them two.
This is a new era of NBA basketball. all the old folks, I don't think they're gonna get there anymore. We got all new champions to look
And the
forward to.
and the new wave is no more big threes
Yeah.
and stuff. And unfortunately, the Suns did that whole move right
Yeah.
at the end when it was shaped. They should have seen it. When you seen De'Aaron Fox and people like that
Speaking
in
of the
Sacramento.
Suns, before we close, I want to ask you a question. There's a big trade coming up.
With who?
A guy named
Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant's washed up. He's not. Let
No,
me not
he's
say
not.
washed
No,
up.
he's not.
Let me not say washed up, but he's not going to be able to lead a team to a championship. Antetokounmpo is coming up for he's going to be a free agent. He's going somewhere. Where's your pick he goes? Let's just give him to him. We can give them that prediction. I think he's going to the Suns. Where do you think he's
You
going?
think he's coming to the Suns? That'd be nice. I wish I could even
Did you say that because of all the bad decisions the Suns have made and
Bro, he's
the
not
fact that
coming
we don't
out
have
here.
no cap space and Bradley Beal is playing the heartstrings of the fans?
He's not coming out here.
You don't think so?
But I would say
Where do you
that-
think he's going then?
Man, I would say where he should go is he should go to Miami
Okay.
or
Okay.
he should go to
Spit
the
it up!
Warriors, bro. The Warriors and play with Steph.
Nah, the Warriors got enough players.
Yeah, but
why
he
doesn't he
will
go
go.
to Sacramento? He could still
I was
be
gonna
in
say
Cali.
Sacramento,
Yeah.
but they don't got De'Aaron Fox no more.
Oh yeah.
Like he went to the Spurs, so
Oh,
like there's
yeah,
no
yeah,
attraction
yeah.
like in Sacramento
Hey,
the same way.
Why don't he go to the Spurs?
Because they got Wembanyama. And
I
they're
think
like,
Chris Paul's retiring, if I'm not mistaken.
as a Spur,
Wembanyama can play center. Antetokounmpo can play power forward. You get you a nice. Who's their point guard? Who's their point guard for the Spurs?
Chris Paul.
It was Chris Paul. I think he's retiring.
he's not gonna go to the Spurs.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nah,
Well-
it's Wembanyama. Like when you have a #1 pick on the squad, like it takes a while for cats of that magnitude to go over there.
Got you.
Like that's why I say those other teams have markets for him. Like
Yeah.
Sacramento, yes, if the point guard is official and he believes in the team, I just don't think that they got nothing that's gonna like
Yeah.
do
Got
it like
you,
that.
got you.
Or the Lakers. I can
And
see
that
him playing
ends
the Lakers.
and that ends this episode. Stay tuned for more. It's your boy Ito.
And Mark.
Adverb
out.
Podcast. We out, y'all. Peace.